on y'all, right? I'm about to drop this knowledge on y'all. So, all you constitutionalists out there, I got something for you. See? I'm going to show you how to critically think about some of this information as it relates to treaty rights, as it relates to Constitution. So, y'all got to understand this as it relates to the Constitution, and what I'm about to break down for you is a delight, right? Is a great delight. Is a great delight. Is a great delight. So, let's get into this topic. So, a lot of y'all need to understand the Constitution as it relates to this topic that I'm going to bring up. So, this topic is very, you need to understand this right here as it relates to this document, this United States Constitution. And what is this? As we call it, when we talk about the organic Constitution and everything, as it relates to the originator, and all of these different terms as it relates to the source of law and where it come from. Y'all got to understand like the source of law and how it works. Incolorable law and how that works. So, let's go down to the 9th Amendment so I can break this down for y'all. So y'all can understand the substantive component of due process that a lot of y'all just don't understand, that they kept you in the dark about on the substantive rights of due process. So, Amendment 9 said the enumeration in this Constitution of some rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Then it says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, or reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. I want you to understand that document as it relates to the amendments, the 9th Amendment. So anything that's not enumerated, right, in the Constitution. So you got to understand, the Constitution enumerates everything to show its jurisdiction, to identify jurisdiction. Applications of law, statutes, are an extension of this, right? They are an extension of the Constitution, but they are of a substantive nature, meaning that there are extensions to that as it relates to private property rights. So everything is as it relates to property. United States is nothing but a trust protector. So private property, private contractors contract with the government, and what do? They're supposed to protect your private rights. And you have to understand there is a duty of care that government must perform in that situation to protect private rights. So you got to understand that substantive contracts or substantively statutes are in a substantive capacity. They're an extensions of contracts. They're an extension of the Constitution. And what has to happen is there is a private law somewhere dealing with it. So we're going to talk about Congress, and they call private law or slip law. So most of y'all deal in all of this public law, but there's a such thing as private law. Public and private laws are also known as slip laws. A slip lost in official publication of law is competent evidence and admissible in all states and federal courts and tribunals of the United States under 1 USC, right? Private law affects an individual, family, or small group are enacted to assist citizens that have been injured by government programs or who are appealing an executive agency rule as deportation. Private law citations include the abbreviation PVTL. The Congress number, this, and the number of law, for example, will be this. So they got public law. So it says most laws passed Congress are public laws. Public laws affect the society as a whole. Public law citations include the abbreviation public law, the congressional number blank, and the number of law. For example, is public law, this, that. So they got it. You have to understand public and private laws side notes. So you got to understand there is public and private law. All y'all do is identify with the public law and never talk about private law at all. Public and private law. So what you got to understand, they're acting in the trust protector capacity. But here's the problem, what a lot of y'all don't understand, right? When you looking at the code, right, you have to understand that on the democracy side, everything under that contract, everything is identified as a bank. A trust is a bank, an LLC is a bank, a DBA is a bank, because you are under a banker's franchise. You are deliberately under a banker's franchise. So everybody go to court talking about injured party, but nobody talk about inspection of the contract. But one of the things that they put a prohibition on is that you cannot question the public debt. What do that mean? That they have a secret jurisdiction. You don't have the right to question anything when you in the public. And they trick you into taking on a public capacity as a role as an employee or an agent, and now you have what they call a public duty of care. The legal definition for the term duty of care means the person acts towards others in public with watchful inattention, caution, and prudence that a reasonable person in the same circumstance will have. So you got to understand the public duty doctrine and legal definition. Government duty to protect its citizens is a general duty to the public as a whole. When there is only a general duty to protect the public, there is no duty of care to individual citizens, which may result in liability. In short, a duty to all is a duty to no one. Do y'all understand what they're saying here? I want you to look at this in this short video that I'm going to drop, right? Dang, I got something. Allergies, man. My nose keep itching. So, I want you to look at this title, Vessels of the United States Defined. The term vessel of the United States, as used in this title, means a vessel belonging in whole or in part to the United States, or a citizen thereof, or any corporation. I want you to see this. Any citizen thereof. So, created by or under the laws of the United States, or any state, territory, district, or possession thereof. Do you understand what this means? The vessels of the United States, as used in this title. So, when they gave you the all caps name, they gave you legal title so that you can pull you into the world of legal lease. Right? That's what they did. Means a vessel belonging in whole or in part to the United States. So it's in whole or in part, meaning that they have either they got a whole interest or they have a part vested interest. They part or part sale to the jurisdiction. And then it says, or any citizen thereof. So it's either in whole or in part to any citizen. So a citizen is a creature of the United States, right? So when they say belonging in whole or in part of the United States or any citizen thereof or any corporation created by and under the laws of the United States. So when it's referencing the citizens or any corporation, you might as well say any corporation thereof or any corporation created under the laws of the United States or any state, territory, district, or possession thereof. So you got to understand any of their territories, anything that is engulfed in legal lease that is expressed with the intent, and we talking about property. So you got to get that to your head. I told you the law follow the property. So all of you Moors and non-Moors who go back in, clear up your status only to go back in recontract by taking on those personalities or personage by them issuing you EIN numbers or other things and associated with it. There is property, and now you have to act as an agent under the laws of agency, having a duty to care for private property. And what you got to understand, legal lease is some own intellectual property. Y'all got to understand due process, and you got to understand the construction of the Constitution. You got to understand the source of law and how it works. The law follows the property. Let's keep it going. I'm not going to break everything down, but I want to talk about this. What is tortious interference with prospective advantage? Now, under treaty, and this is where we're going to come into the private. This is why you need the master class. They're interfering with Moore's rights to exercise commerce. They cannot do that per treaty. They have to. We have reciprocity. We have reciprocity, meaning that we have the same rights they have, because we the ones who granted the rights. They didn't grant us anything. Their government is there to protect your private rights. That's what the whole thing about this Constitution is basically for. It gives you an information on their infrastructure and how they're going to operate and how they need to protect your rights. But what you did was you took on the role of them, and now they have a right to pull you in under their jurisdiction and adjudicate you accordingly. Because you're dealing with property. You have that you're dealing with their property. And we'll get into that in the master class. and I'll show you. So, what is tortious interference with prospective advantage? Right? What is considered tortious interference? What is tortious interference with business? What are the elements of tortious interference with the contract? What are the 3 intentional torts? Can you sue for a tort? How do you win a tort? So let's go here. Let's look at what are the elements of tortious interference with the contract? The requisite elements of tortious interference with the contract claim are the existence of a valid, enforceable contract between the plaintiff and others, which is the treaty. Defendant's awareness of contractual relationship is in the treaty. Defendant's intentional and unjust inducement of a breach of the contract and a subsequent, I don't know why it breaks up, and subsequent. It says, what are 3 intentional torts? Under tort law, 7 intentional torts exist. 4 of them are personal, assault, and battery, right? Intentional infliction of emotional distress and false imprisonment. The other 3 are trespassing to chattel, trespass to property, and conversions. And we're getting that in the treaty. I'll show you all of this in the treaty. I'll show you where this broke down to treaty. Right? We'll talk about badges, relics, and vestiges of slavery. We'll talk about that identity. So y'all are under, I just did something on identity. Y'all keep wanting to, I ain't gonna go through that. Y'all gotta get the Black's laws and understand identity, right? Let me see where I'm at in this video. 18 minutes. So I'm about to stop the video. But y'all need to understand how this works with all of these different things under treaty and under rights. Because most of y'all got y'all more stuff, then y'all go right back in. So let's talk about the source of law, because I'm about to get out of here. Right? In these terms, source of law. Meaning, source of law are the origins of law, the binding rules that enables any state to govern its territory. The term source of law may sometimes refer to the sovereign or the seat of the power from which the law derives its validity, its contents. So, we're talking about contract. So, we're talking about treaty. Treaty ain't nothing but a contract. So, we got to understand the source of law as it relates to everything that's going on. So, it's some things that you need to know and how to defend yourself with the trust and come right and rebut any of their presumptions based upon statutory contractual provisions, because you got to understand there's dealing with a substantive component of due process, and then we talking about how well or is it, or are you conscionable enough to take that contract under the law of doctrine to contract. According to the definition of capacity to contract, a person who is major sound mind and not disqualified by law has the capacity to contract. In simple words, the person is of sound mind, major, and not disqualified by law can enter into a contract. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to show you what the treaty does under this. Right? I'm going to show you some things, what the treaty does, and break all of this stuff down for y'all that people ain't telling you. All these gurus telling you to go do this and go do that, UCCs, go get you a 984 and this, that, all of this stuff, they pulling you back into the jurisdiction. In this last topic I want to cover, I want to show you that it doesn't matter what you call yourself, you're still a bank, an LLC, a trust, a sole proprietorship, a sole aggregate, a S corp, a C corp. You're still a trust. I mean, you're still a bank because you enter the realm of a banking franchise. It's just a bank. You enter a banking franchise. Just like if you went over to McDonald's. I don't care what you call yourself. If you're under a McDonald's franchise, you are a damn McDonald's. Because that's what McDonald's produce under their franchise is other McDonald's. So the trick of the devil was to make you believe that you are something else other than what they identify you as, but you're nothing but a bank. So let's go here. For the purpose of section 582 and 584, the term banks mean a bank or trust company incorporated and doing business under the laws of the United States, including or relating to the District of Columbia or any state or substantial part of business in which consists of receiving deposits, making loans, discounts, or exercising fiduciary powers similar to those permitted to a national bank under authority of the comptroller of the currency, and which is subject by law to supervisions and examinations by state or federal authority having supervision over banking institutions. So I'm not going to go through. They got another definition that tells you that everything is a bank. So you think you turn around, oh man, I got my 98 number, I did that. You ain't nothing but a bank. You ain't nothing but a bank. This is why you're subjected to those laws. So this is what you do. I'm going to tell you how silly we is. You know how you run through, those sticky things that's out that be floating around and they can stick on your clothes, and if you run through them, through the bushes, you can have a bunch of those little sticky things on you. You run out, right? Take this title, and then you run and you stick yourself, and all these other jurisdictions are now applicable. Now you got all these other laws that's applicable. And you don't even understand what happened. So I want you to think about everything you do as a more, because it's critical thinking to understand how you go about moving, in which they turn you into something so that they can continuously have jurisdiction. So this is your boy King L. Bay. I'm dropping knowledge all day. I'm about to get up out of here. You ain't nothing but a bank. I'm going to teach you in a master class substantive due process and how it truly works. Show you what the Constitution really is, and show you how it really works. Peace and love, everybody. I'm out.